Fourth Estate. This is Dr. Ledo Samuel, President, Uganda Medical Association. And following the recent events, I believe the unfolding of the NRM Symposium, which took place at Kololo on 3rd of December, I believe we all got the information that Dr. Ledo himself knelt in front of the Fountain of Honor, recognizing his great achievements, especially in health, that range from the salary enhancement of the health workers that right now, the least paid, that is a nursing, a comprehensive nurse, ranging from 600,000, now getting 1.4 million shillings. A medical officer moving from 3 million shillings to 5.4 million shillings. A consultant coming from 4.8 to 12 million shillings. Medical officer, special grade, area of contention, who are meant to go to 10, going to 6. And also senior consultant moving from 5 million shillings to 13 million shillings. Sincerely, in my culture, I'm told that whenever someone does a great thing, you have the obligation to appreciate and thank him. And in that same spirit, as we are still celebrating the great salary enhancement, the Fountain of Honor and the government hit us with another surprise of CT scans being put in regional referral hospitals. There's only people who don't know the value of a CT scan. That when they get a patient with head injury being transported from a district across a region, you've seen most of the cases in Mulago, majorly the head injury cases are referrals from other places. But now, these CT scans are put in all the 14 regional referral hospitals. And that means now the super specialists that we're advocating for to be put in these regional referral hospitals, that we have neurosurgeons, ENT surgeons, we have general surgeons, we have gynecologists, every user of a CT scan to be in these regions will come to light. So if you do not appreciate that venture, then for sure you have no moral authority to criticize anyone. In that same spirit, the kneeling down is not the first time. Last year, I knelt down when the police stopped us as we were moving to Parliament, dissatisfied with the proceedings, that the issue that was meant to be addressed from the collective bargaining argument of 2016 was not addressed. And I knelt down with a team of doctors at CPS and were arrested, went viral. And the question is, how come at that time when I knelt down in front of the police officers, it was not an issue? Now what about in front of a Fountain of Honor? Sincerely. So I will not entertain anyone disrespecting the Fountain of Honor. I'll come out hard on this because he is our president and the culture deems it right for us to respect authorities that are head. Two, in the same spirit, please allow me categorically make it clear. The information moving around, Dr. Ledo has resigned, has done what? I'm the Dr. Ledo, I'm here. I've not resigned. I am still the president of Uganda Medical Association, and we are handling due process internally. We have a constitution which we are following to the letter. And the purpose of all that is to divert us from the major agenda. Having 2,500 doctors unemployed on street, and you think you're going to fight with government? We've had a modus operandi over time of not going to be a honorable profession which fights every now and then. We must have ability to appreciate and have a new approach in dialoguing with the government and trying to discuss. You want arm twist government to employ the 2,500 doctors. You want to do that. But there must be discussion to see that this agenda of health, which the president actually is very positive about, the issue of prevention, disease prevention, ranging down in the communities to avoid congestion in the hospitals. It is key, and that means our doctors will be employed in all the hospitals, ranging from Health Center 3. If you don't support that, then you're a wicked individual. Because our dear brothers and sisters are languishing on street. They are doing low-income jobs. They are surviving from clinic to clinic, running on border borders. Actually, we've lost doctors on border borders due to running from one clinic to another to make ends meet. We want them put in one place, do the work. Actually, we want a medical officer's salary to go up to 10 million shillings so that they cannot moonlight. They're working for government, they're in government. You cannot attain that when you do not have the ability to respect and appreciate what has been done. In Uganda, they say nyamento no kaya na edimuchi munkwawa. And that is for a fact. So, as the president of Uganda Medical Association, I've not stepped down, and due process is going on. I'm still the president of Uganda Medical Association. If there is any other president other than me, maybe that person has resigned. But as for me, I am still here. And I'm still leading the association. And the due process, internal due process, is going on, which we must respect. We shall communicate when the processes have reached the conclusive. Step aside in anything, in any way. I've allowed the internal processes to go on because our constitution doesn't have that provision of step aside, step down. It's only as a provision of president resigned, president investigated, president voted out by extraordinary general assembly. Those are the provisions. And it's clear.
So you're not stepping aside as well?
I am still the president of Uganda Medical Association, and I'm not stepping aside. I am still there. Please, let's respect that information. I've allowed investigations to go on. That's why I've been quiet. I've not been involved in anything. The investigations are going on, but to paraphrase for you very well, is these same investigations that are going on. Last year, in November, I knelt down. How come investigations never went on at that time? Reason being, at that time it was the welfare of doctors. So there it was about money coming to the pockets. This time, I'm kneeling down to appreciate the person who has put that money in our pockets. It becomes a crime. Does it make sense to you? To begin with, my coming as a president of Uganda Medical Association, my track record is clear. I've always been open with my party affiliation. I've always been NRM. History tells you very well that Dr. Oledo contested for regional vice NRM Northern Uganda against Honorable Jacob Olanya, may he so rest in eternal peace, the former Speaker of Parliament. I was NRM. That is before the elections of Uma presidency. At the same time, I come later to also contest for Yala elections under the NRM ticket. And yes, I didn't go through. So my track record for the party has been clear. And the kneeling down in a clinical court, how come when I knelt down in front of the police officers in a clinical court, it wasn't a crime? Because history has it clear that I've ever knelt down in a clinical court with the doctors with me. It is clear. And that day, I knelt down in front of the Fountain of Honor, acknowledging the great attributes he has done in health and looking at projecting the future of our nation, especially in healthcare's delivery. Having that gesture, having him himself instituted things like diagnostic services in the regional referrals, I had hope as an individual that for sure, if this individual is still given the mantle to lead the nation, he can for sure give and deliver great services to this country in the form of health services. And I spoke this as Dr. Oledo Samuel. I did not speak as Uma president at that time. We saw any highlight anywhere written out, Dr. Oledo Samuel, Uma president. It was clear, Dr. Oledo Samuel on my clinical coat. The same clinical coat I wore when I was kneeling down, when I was arrested for doctors. It's the same clinical coat I wore. So how different are the scenarios? Don't you see double standard in that? But that will not divert us from the agenda of making the medical profession better. We are going to continuously engage with government so that we better the profession. The young doctors coming up, they're not deployed. The systems must be outlined very well. Our people in the communities must get these services. So we cannot be in run here, run there, running battles. No, we must agree and work together and improve the sector. Actually, when I contested for Uma president, the person who contested against me was coming from Nook. He had a political affiliation. Where there is elective politics, where there is election in any way, you cannot negate the political concept of it being involved. So, whether you want it or not, there's a saying, man is a political animal. Even you in a media house, I believe you have political affiliations and engagements. So, man being a political animal, doctors are not exceptional. Unfortunate thing is, the doctors who subscribe to this ideology, we cannot get the total number of them. But trust me, majority of the young doctors out there, they subscribe to the ideology that I presented on that day. Very clearly. And I spoke for the doctors who are affiliated to the NRM, who feel that for sure the president has done a great job. By the way, political affiliation, even at any profession, it is involved. All of us have internally what we believe in. I've come out clearly to indicate that I'm NRM. I've never hidden that from anyone. And there are other doctors who have come out also clearly that they're NRM. And those doctors, I represented their voice on that day of the symposium. That, Your Excellency, us as the doctors who are affiliated to the NRM, who believe in this ideology, we are surely looking at the future of the medical fraternity being made better. And in that regard, Your Excellency, we are requesting you, consider our plea to come back in 2026. Was it a crime? As an NRM, was it a crime? Thank you. Paraded people who are not doctors. Why don't you investigate the doctors I knelt with also when the police arrested us? Were they real doctors? Am I representing farmers? No. Am I representing fishermen? No. Am I leading butchermen? No. No individual, no doctor, no nurse, because actually that group had doctors, it had nurses, it had pharmacists. It wasn't only doctors. And he had some pre-interns, people who are going to do interns next year, who are purely very supportive of betterment of the health sector. The same group which also moved with me last year when we were being arrested for the welfare of doctors, ranging from interns to up there. So now, the question is very simple in that regard. Why don't you investigate two groups that are represented? Because it is not like only one group, one cohort. Investigate two cohorts. And please, that is diversionary. It is uncalled for. And the two, I can assure you that the health sector is solid, and the issue of apology and all that stuff, how do you apologize for something that you've spoken and you're convicted to speak it? That is diversionary. We should not consider diversionary issues. The concept I've given you is